Hello lovely people, how you doing? I hope everything's okay. I hope you're safe and sound at home, and I hope you're enjoying our exercises. We put a little bit of thought into the exercises, and this week we came up with one which was regarding a video from Wine Spectator about decanting. So let's correct the exercise. So in theory, decanting is really taking one liquid, passing it into another container, really. But if we have a wine, this is water, I don't want to waste my wine. If we take a liquid and pass it from here, and we see that there are some sediments at the bottom of the bottle, what we can do is we can decant and leave the sediments that are heavier at the bottom, and therefore we will have a clear liquid. In our case, a clear wine. So there are three main reasons why we decant. Number one, we want to take away, or we want to try and have a clear liquid away from all the sediments. Number two, to oxidize, to add oxygen into the wine. And number three, it looks good, it looks classy, right? Adding oxygen to wine enables us to open that wine up. If you think about it, if you're crammed into a really tight box and somebody opens the box and you're out, you can stretch. And therefore, that's exactly what a wine needs. It's in an enclosed space and it needs to get out and it needs to breathe a bit. We don't like, as human beings, we don't like to be in closed spaces. We like to feel a little bit open. It is exactly the same with a wine. We can express ourselves better, and so can the wine. So it opens up the aromas, it opens up the flavors, it also rounds off tannin as well. Okay. So in the video, there were 4 out of hundreds or thousands of different types of decanters. There are many different types of decanters. The first one was the classic. The second one was the captains. The third one was the Amadeo. And the fourth one was just a typical laboratory flask. It even had the dials or the numbers down the side of the recipient. Now, as I said before, one of the main reasons is to separate the liquid from sediments. And what happens is that in wine, sometimes, mainly in red wines, but it can also happen in white wines as well, natural wines, is that we have to try and separate the liquid and the sediment. The sediment, all it is just particles that are heavier than the liquid itself falling to the bottom of the bottle. This can be yeasts, it can also be colouring agents, anthocyans. It can also be different grape particles and other things as well. So these all drop to the bottom. They're not unhealthy, but it doesn't look very good. A typical problem that we can find in wines, or sorry, not a typical problem, because obviously there are ways of getting around it, but problems we can find in wine sometimes are tartrate crystals. People actually saying that they can see glass in their wine. Now, this is just a tartrate crystal. This is just tartaric acid. It solidifies and it drops to the bottom. It can actually sometimes even stick to the cork. Now, it's not harmful, but it doesn't look good in a glass. So this is why we have to decant. Now, as I said before, there are mainly two types of decanting. One is a shock decanting, which is literally taking a young wine, adding oxygen to it very quickly. It can be done with young wines as well. We used to think that decanting was only for old wines, but we can take a decanter and quickly empty the bottle of the young wine into the decanter. That's adding oxygen very quickly, and then you're going to drink it. But also we can do it with an aged wine. If you do it with an aged wine, you have to be careful, because too much oxygen can actually make it feel dull on the nose. It's not going to be alive, so you're going to have to be very careful. Maybe you want to try it with a glass before you actually decant into a decanter. So we hoped you enjoyed the explanation about the video. I hope you're enjoying the activities. Please stay safe at home, be healthy, and enjoy being with your family, learning, and just maybe even relaxing a little bit. I think we need it. Society is becoming too fast, so I think a little bit of relaxation is a good thing. Next day we're going to be looking at a great variety. So enjoy, lovely family. Speak soon.